you release, it again comes back. So that is technically called as no particular sign, but that will mean that in the slip sign, the swelling did not slip away. Slip sign mane, either the swelling slips away, no change in the shape of the swelling, or the swelling does not slip away. If there is a change, that is sebaceous cyst. If there is no change, that is other cysts like a dermoid, etc. Okay, or I'll say other cyst. Now, if you have understood this partly, the
স্যার
other
এটা কি স্লিপ করবে এই
no,
লাস্টে শুধু জল যেটা
no slippage, sir. Slip will only occur in what kind of swelling? What is the kind of swelling that will slip away? A lipoma slips away. Just remember this: lipoma slips away. Lipoma slips away. Lipoma slips away. Pass.
কিন্তু স্যার এটা যদি জলের বল হয়, জলের বলটাও তো স্লিপ করে যাওয়া উচিত
না, provided remember that this joler ball is fixed with the surrounding structures. Remember, it is lined by an epithelial lining. The epithelial lining definitely has something by the side. So why will it get formed?
আচ্ছা
Okay.
স্যার এই sebaceous cyst যখন একবার indentation form করলো, আঙুলটা সরিয়ে নেওয়ার পরে the impression will remain like that.
Say this is an atta ka gola. How long will the impression remain? Say for a minute.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and then it will come back. Now, if you have discussed this, come to the next kind of clinical tests. This is something that you are asked to be. Can I erase this?
What to tell in this case? In dermoid case, only slip sign is negative.
Slip sign is negative. That's it. Examiner will ask, why did you look for a slip sign? Because my differential diagnosis is a lipoma. Why is it a lipoma? That is the reason. And someone of you said that. And what is this sign called as fluctuation? Now, fluctuation, remember, means, understand this test. Again, the same thing. This is a cyst that contains the fluid, and what you are liking to say is that put two fingers on the two sides of the swelling. Okay? Give a pressure on one. This will be felt like this. Hello? Have I made you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Or I can refine the test in a better way. Let us talk a bit of physics. What I will do is that I will put in a finger like this in the middle. This finger is going to give a pressure on this. I do not remember the law, Rascal's law, Pascal's law, whatever law it is. The pressure is transmitted on the two sides. So, if I keep two other fingers that means if this finger is a displacing finger D, these fingers are watching fingers. Hello? Have I made you understand how to elicit a fluctuation?
Yes, sir.
So to elicit a fluctuation in a swelling, how many fingers will you require to be used?
3 fingers.
3 fingers. Minimum 3 fingers. Okay? Say for example, I had that, remember? That swelling, kahan gaya? That scalp wala swelling? The big scalp wala, yeah, this chap. So that means, if this is the finger that is giving the pressure, that means I need the other 2 fingers which will be acting as what kind of things? They will be acting as the watching finger, and the blue colored finger will be the displacing finger. And always do this in a perpendicular axis. If you have done it in this axis, then you are required to rotate that. That means if you have done it in one axis, okay, then you are required to rotate the swelling and do it in this axis. So that if there is a muscle, sometimes muscles can be felt as a fluctuant swelling. We do not mistake any feeling of any muscle to this. So have I made you understand what is this part? Hello? Called as fluctuation.
স্যার এই অ্যাক্সেসের পার্টটা আরেকবার একটু প্লিজ রিপিট
Axis
করুন।
is, remember, that I always try to elicit this in two axes. Why? Because if this is a muscle, say for example, you are eliciting this test over this is a skull, but if you are eliciting this test over a muscle, the problem is that the wave gets transmitted in a muscle and you don't appreciate that. Okay, so that is the way of understanding. So to negate that it is not a muscle, I do this test across two axes. One, the axis that we have seen, turn your fingers on the other side so that if this is a muscle, that negates away your negative or increases your specificity of the test. So this is all about
আমাদের ওপিডিতে এই ফ্লাকচুয়েশনটা টেস্ট করতে গিয়ে স্যার বলেছিলেন যে আমরা দুটো অ্যাক্সিসে করি, কেননা যদি একটা দুটো অ্যাক্সিসে পিওর লিকুইড আছে নাকি দেখার জন্য, একটা অ্যাক্সিসে যদি লিকুইড না থাকে, পিওর লিকুইড না থাকে, যদি একটু ভিসকাস কিছু থাকে, ওই অ্যাক্সিসে নাকি ফ্লাকচুয়েশনটা কম পাওয়া যাবে, অপোজিট অ্যাক্সিসে ফ্লাকচুয়েশনটা।
Now that is again a relative finding, sir. That is again a relative finding. Let us talk gross. Okay. Now you are eliciting a fluctuation like this. I agree with your point. The liquid can be same viscosity as water, more viscous than water, like honey. Agreed. Sir, but one important thing. What are the other fluctuant things in the body? Like say for example muscles. If you put your finger, say for example this is the thigh muscle, and if you do the same 3-finger test, this is the central finger that acts as a displacing finger. This then is eliciting the pressure, and these are the 2 fingers which are watching. You can do the test on your own self and then you will feel, yes sir, there is an impulse. Impulse is because at a normal temperature, muscles are in a semi-fluid state and so is the fat. That exactly brings you to the question that someone asked me in the morning. What do you mean by the term pseudo fluctuation? Because what happens is the point that you raised, very pertinent point. Pseudo fluctuation means, remember what is the body temperature? 37. At that body temperature, what happens to the fat? Fat is technically a liquid. If you place a butter at 37 degrees centigrade, what happens to that butter? Butter melts, or it is at least half melt. And then if you try to elicit a fluctuation, what will fluctuation be? Will it be present? Yes, but that is present in only one axis. Okay, it will not be present in the other axis because the butter is not completely melted. So that is the reason fluctuation is said to be done in 2 axes. Okay, so this is all about fluctuation. The story has not ended. Examiners are going to ask you, how did you elicit a fluctuation in this kind of swelling? This is such a small swelling. How did you elicit the fluctuation? Please understand the name of the test. The name of the test is called as Paget's test. P-A-G-E-T. Paget's disease of the nipple, same Paget's disease, Paget's test. How is it done? Please look into the methods, how I am doing this. I am using in place of the displacing finger, I am using a Diaslai Kathi matchstick or a pin, not the sharp end of the pin. And then what I am doing is, I am trying to put 2 fingers exactly like this. What will you get as a finding in this? Can you see this displacement of the fluid? Hello? So the 2 fingers are placed on the 2 sides of the swelling. The center is depressed by a matchstick, and that is something called as, what is this test called as? This is called as a Paget's test to be done. Have you completed, sir? Hello? Yes, sir. Good. So guys, we have talked about fluctuation, we have talked about slip sign. When time comes, I will again be talking about compressibility, reducibility and other cuff impulses. Not now, because unnecessarily making you understand clinical science without cases is you will not be understanding or getting confused. So you are known to be asked about fluctuation and pseudo fluctuation.
pseudo fluctuation?
Can I elicit pseudo fluctuation in what?
Can you repeat pseudo fluctuation?
Pseudo fluctuation is at 37 degrees centigrade, fat is in a semi-solid or a liquid state. It's very simple. In this summer times, 37 degrees centigrade, if you keep a butter, what happens to that butter? Does it stay solid or does it stay liquid? It melts, na? And then when you keep it in the refrigerator, it is again a butter again. So at a normal body temperature, fat is not exactly fat, it is liquid. So, but that semi-solid nature of the disease elicits something called as a pseudo fluctuation. So the right angle movement is much less appreciated. Hence it is called as a pseudo fluctuation. Okay, right. Have I made you understand this point, sir?
Yes, sir.
Good. Let us come to the next case. So subcutaneous lumps, bumps are done. Before I go to the next case, the only point of interest around you teaching all the cases from the morning is only one. What is the differential diagnosis of this swelling? Can you tell me? What is the differential diagnosis of this swelling? Your clinical diagnosis was, what was the clinical diagnosis in this case?
Lipoma.
Lipoma. So what is the differential diagnosis?
The dermoid cyst, sebaceous cyst.
Very good. So it can be either a sebaceous cyst or it could be a dermoid cyst. Very good. Now you will have some points in favor, some points against a dermoid and some points against a lipoma. Every swelling that I have taught till now, it is up to you now. You are going to think and you are going to make and tell me, why is this not a sebaceous cyst? Why is this not a dermoid cyst? Or as in this case, near the elbow, why did you say this to be? So what is your DD in this case? Can you tell me your differential diagnosis? Hello? Sebaceous cysts and a dermoid. Very good. So by this time you have understood. Why is this not a sebaceous cyst? Why is this not a dermoid? So this is a way, please continue your own exercise. This is a special case. I will again come back to this swelling and ask you, what is your differential diagnosis? And in this differential diagnosis, I will like to bring dermoid as upper rather than a sebaceous cyst. If it is a dermoid, what kind of dermoid do you think is this? Hello, Are? This is the midline of the body.
Sequestration dermoid.
Sequestration dermoid. Very good. Arising from which bones?
Sacrum.
Sacrum. Very good. Excellent going. So that means the point that goes against a dermoid cyst in this patient is, what is the point that goes against a dermoid cyst? Is when I palpate the slip sign and when I palpate the margins, what will I get when I palpate the margins?
Sir, bony induration ta power
Bony induration. Exactly. Very good. So this is what I wanted you to answer. Very nice.
Sir, আগেরটা আমি sacrum না বলে pelvic sacral junction বা pelvic sacral.
Yes, sir, you can see. Whenever you are mentioning dermoid, that means the examiner has that idea that this candidate wants to speak of a bony suture. Okay. The rest of this, that means she now knows that there is a working item. Third, when I will be teaching you, there is a condition called as a meningocele. We will also be talking about a
Neural tube defect.
Oh, that is a neural tube defect, an NTD. Okay, we will be talking about that also, but these ones are rare. and are usually seen at birth. This patient, remember, presented at 6 years of age. So you have to ask with differential diagnosis. Examiner should be happy making you guys making a DD. So this completes many short notes, very important cases. More or less 99% of you in an MBBS exam, you are going to get these cases, guaranteed. Okay, chalo.
স্যার
Yes, sir.
স্যার ডারময়েডের পরে যে পয়েন্ট গুলো আছে মানে হোয়াই ডারময়েড ওইটা স্যার ওই কোশ্চেনটা লিখে
Why dermoid? Let me see where is that. Why did you say it is a dermoid? कहाँ पे लिखा था sir? 1 minute sir. Why dermoid? Okay, so these are the points. Bony indentation. You can take a screenshot of this page if you like. Okay. Done. Hello.
স্যার ওই বোনি ইন্ডেন্টেশন আর ওই মিড লাইনে ওটা আছে
মিড লাইনে আছে, ওটাই দরকার। হ্যাঁ বাস ওটাই ভাই,
তাই একমাত্র ওয়ান এন্ড অনলি
একদম ওকে।
यस सर
chalo. Okay, right. So beyond this, now we talk about other swellings which are not that big great discussion to be have had. To start with, we talk of something that we have taught in plastic surgeries. Spotter diagnosis, nothing more to describe. Can you tell me what is this one, sir? What is the diagnosis? Ekdam keloid. Very good. So can you tell me little more about your diagnosis? Sir, this is a keloid in front of the chest in a say 22-year-old gentleman. 22 years old gentleman with a keloid over which area of the body? Sir, over the sternal area or the presternal area. Very good. I will give you 50% immediately. If you tell me this kind of a diagnosis, I will be very happy. Okay, right. So after you have talked about this one, the questions here are, can you describe this? Yes, sir. The description history that you have taken in history. Sir, the history that I have taken in this patient is, what is the nature of injury? It can be many kinds, surgical, non-surgical, etc. Number 2, after the injury, how was the wound healing? So this is a chapter that you are requested to read, theory on wound healing. Number 3, was there any infection? Number 4, how long did the wound take to heal? Number 5, what is the duration of this keloid? We'll talk about difference of hypertrophic scar. Number 6, what is the present complaint now? The present complaint now may be itching, pus formation. So this is all about things that you are required to know. Please tell me when you have completed.
স্যার আজকের ক্লাসটা কতক্ষণ চলবে?
Half an hour maximum. Done, sir. Completed writing? Okay. The examiner will have only one question to you. How is the difference between a keloid and a hypertrophic scar? I think all of you have a good answer to this. I will revise a few points. Number 1 is the duration or bracket timeline. Keloids are seen after 1 year of scar formation. So until and unless you get 1 year of a scar, the first birthday, we do not comment that is a keloid. Hypertrophic scars are seen usually up to 1 year. And it is not that beyond 1 year the hypertrophic scar is called as a keloid, but usually hypertrophic scars at 1 year will either regress or will go to a keloid formation. Any of these things can happen. Second point, okay, the relationship to the original scar or scar relation. Keloids, always remember the name keloid suggests all. Keloid is claw-like process. As you can see in the picture, the scar for tissue has gone into the soft tissue structure. So, देखो, this is a soft tissue structure that is invaded by the keloid. Okay. In a hypertrophic scar, the main point is very simple. ये देखिए कि this is the hypertrophic scar. It is in the confines of the original scar. Bas. Next one. Associated symptoms in a case of a keloid will be itching, sometimes pus formation due to folliculitis. Here, mild itching can be the only point. Sight. Keloids are notorious to occur in which parts of the human body? Ear lobules, the sternal area, sometimes even the trunk, like the anterior abdominal wall. Hypertrophic scars can occur any site. Last is race. Keloids are known to occur more in black people than white. So please tell me when you have completed writing.
Sir, scar relation keloid tar ekbar bolben?
Scar relation is, see the picture. The keloid is grown out of the confines of the scar. Okay. So it has grown out of the territories of the scar. If the scar was, कहाँ गया photo? Initial scar was like this. यहाँ पे देखो, बाप रे बाप, कितना बड़ा हो गया है. Claw-like processes and it has gone out.
Sir, hypertrophic scar and racial point है किसी और?
Hypertrophic scar is only confined to the site of the scar. It is elevated, but it is confined to the site of the scar. Okay, all right. Done. Finally, what is the treatment of keloids? So now, these are again common cases for exams. Where is the keloid formation, sir?
Here.
What is the scar in which the keloid did form?
Ear piercing.
Ear piercing. Okay, so all boys and girls who are believing in ear piercing, please beware, it can form a keloid like this. Now this looks like a new ornament. Okay, less common. I have seen keloids less common in eastern part of India. When I used to work in Delhi AIIMS, and then we used to get lot of women who used to wear large earrings, and then they used to have big keloids. So talk about the treatment of these keloids. Now, keloid treatment is, if it is, remember that in keloids, either the keloids are initially treated by injection of triamcinolone, which is a steroid, long-acting steroid, and it is once monthly. Some people give it once every 3 weeks, but it is usually once monthly. It is injection of triamcinolone over 6 months. Okay. Or particularly in few sites like ear lobule keloids, we go for a surgical excision in ear lobule keloid. Job done? Completed writing?
Yes, sir.
What is the complication of a keloid? Only one. Complications of keloid are it recurs. Recurrence is the only bad complication. Pass.
ইনফেকশনও তো হয় কিলয়েড।
Infection, sir. Okay, agreed. I will then add folliculitis, sir. Agreed, sir. Okay, chalo. The next case in the line. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good. The next case in the line is again a subcutaneous swelling. This is a 25-year-old gentleman, and he has presented with a subcutaneous swelling which has been present for 4 years. No change in size or very slow change in size. No pain, but the patient has a cosmetic disfigure and a tendon which sometimes appears fatigued over long working hours. Now, this gentleman is a software engineer. I have forgotten to say this. He is a software engineer. Okay, fatigue over long working hours. What is this nature of the swelling? Dekho. So the patient's profile is a 25-year-old gentleman, software engineer, no change in size. This is a cosmetic issue, and this has presented over the extensor tendon. Have you seen this swelling, sir? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good. Let us see the description point. This is technically called as a ganglion. So this kind of a swelling is technically called as a ganglion. Now, what is this ganglion and what are the things to know? Sight. This is present over the dorsum of hand. Second, size. 1 cross 1 centimeter. Shape. Globular. Surface. Smooth. Scar. No. Sinus. No. Skin. Normal. Surroundings and other important things. Normal. No findings. Temperature not raised. Tenderness no. Consistency is soft. Some cases can be firm. If it is soft, compressibility no, reducibility no, cuff impulse no, fluctuation yes, transillumination yes, and this is a very important test in this case. Mobility and fixity is important. Skin is free. What is not free is when I make the extensor tendons taut, the swelling is not mobile. When I make the extensor tendons taut, the swelling is not mobile. When I make the extensor tendons taut, the swelling is not mobile. Lymph nodes, no. Nerve artery vein, no. Joint is wrist joint movements are normal. Okay, please tell me when you have completed.
Done, sir.
Done?
So wait one.
Completed?
Yes, sir.
Scroll us. Take a screenshot if you like.
Done.
Done? Done?
Yes, sir.
Good. So this is all about special tests and all done. Right. Now questions that are asked about in a ganglion. What are the questions that you are liable to be asked along the ganglion? Just give me a minute, please. Let me have a glass of water, please. Just a minute. First question is, what is your diagnosis? What is your diagnosis? Sir, my diagnosis is a ganglion, right wrist region. Okay? Completed, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Second question. What is a ganglion, or how do you define a ganglion? What is a ganglion, or how do you define a ganglion? Answer. Cysts that arise in swelling, or sorry, cystic swelling in relation to tendon sheath or membrane. Completed writing?
So can you please repeat?
Yeah, sir. Cystic swellings in relation to